Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Jason, the creator of I Am Legion for Dying Light 1 and 2, and I'm going to be trying to finish up my development for 1 point or 0.9. I've run into a couple of hiccups that I'll be crawling through tonight. Basically, to summarize, I've gone through and created several new types of variants and zombies, but they don't seem to actually be spawning in the game code. And I've even gone so far as to replace all of the spawn code that's in the game and reroute all of those spawns to go to my custom zombie types, and it's still not working. So tonight I'm going to be crawling through a little bit more and trying to understand what exactly is going on, to where they have this system that's kind of protected, but it's not. It's kind of confusing, where in some instances it's working properly and spawning the correct characters, but then at the same time it's not working properly. So I have a couple of things I'm going to try, and I'm going to try to summarize. So I'm not going to go live on the Discord tonight, just because after reviewing the audio in the last Discord video, I felt that the mic overlap was kind of distracting, and I was getting distracted. I wasn't really talking about what I was looking at and why, kind of thing. So I'm going to try to focus some more of that tonight, to just kind of focus on what I'm trying to get done and explain why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. So, just to get everybody caught up, we have a couple of core files that I'll be looking at here. So, essentially, the confusing part that I was looking at a couple of days ago, that I think I mentioned in another video, but I think that was the one where the mic was actually turned off. I apologize for so many videos coming out that have not been have been less than perfect quality. And so to recap some of that, the part that's kind of confusing is that there's these presets logic human AI folder, and I've gone back and I've reviewed and I've confirmed that the developers are updating this folder. But everything that I seem to be doing inside these files doesn't really seem to have an effect, which is a bit confusing. After looking at this again the other day, I was kind of the impression that, okay, so maybe the problem is how they've rerouted a lot of the code to where they had this, like, they were doing something a lot more complex and then they dumbed it back down. And so because of that, I was sitting there going like, well, maybe the problem is the concept of this biter, that the biter present, that they have in here, maybe it's protected in some way. And so I essentially went in here and wrote several new presets, not inheriting presets, but actual standalone presets. I'm not sure if you're supposed to do this. I don't know if it's just because it's easier to do the inheriting system, which, by the inheriting system, I'm showing here that basically you can give a name and then say, use this one as a reference. And what that does is it will then point all of your core file at whatever base you give it. So you don't have to go in and define every value. You only have to define the ones that you want to replace based on this variant. The problem with this is that this is not really working. And so, for example, here, I'm picking up a couple of errors that I've left in here just from where I've had my head down and been trying to crawl through this for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick backup. Push out for replacement code, prefabs, spawners. Basically, I went through and I replaced all of the code where a biter is called. So there is no more biter in these spawn lists. There is now my variants. And so what I was thinking about tonight, that I'm going to try to take it even further, is I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go in here and line out the biter, and I think I'm going to go in here and try to, what is it? Let's see. Get the hotkey for lining out word wrap. Nice. Um, there is a is a button for this, but I forget what it is. Hang on one second. Say notepad plus plus line out. You. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do here is, oh, that work. See, also Alt plus left click. I don't know what it's talking about actually. Um, Alt left click. Interesting. Control K. See if this one works. Okay, well, these are interesting posts so far. I guess because they're older. Control Shift Q. We're getting all sorts of different. Nothing works. I guess these are all. I guess these are all outdated. Commenting code in Notepad++. This was 12 years ago, so I highly doubt it still works. 2022. Okay, well, the time it took to look that up, I could have just gone line by line. So I will continue to look that one up. But for now, let's just painfully. This is where I need to have visual installed instead of doing it this way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up as a reference so that essentially on these other ones, we want to make sure that this one is always the go-to of what fields need to be set. This replication code I thought was very interesting because I haven't been able to actually, let me try again. I thought maybe I had a typo in my code the other day when I searched. Let me go ahead and just try again and see if I can find it. So basically, now that that's lined out, we should have this these other presets defined. And what I need to do is go through, and essentially what I've set up is that I'm trying to create the split between the fresh dead and the dead zombies, the ones that are bleached by the sun. So we now have this idea of male bleached and female bleached. And so what I'm going to try to do is, and oh, here's another one I got to go through here and line out. That's not cool. Because technically we have the female bleached, so we shouldn't have to do female anymore. So I don't think I've actually converted these into standalones yet. But we can do, so the female fresh dead is based off the male dead. It just goes and changes these files over to the female variant. Same with the female bleached. It looks at the male bleached, which this is why I had it like this earlier. I mentioned that was a typo, but it's not. So these are actually going to line out. And actually, right now, I don't actually like the wrap. So let's get rid of the wrap right here. So the fresh dead should have everything but this init data ID. If I can find out what this is, then I'll know how they're using it. But I think like I've tried giving it to a couple of the different ones that I've created here. Search a little bit more here. And so for the females, female bleach, female fresh dead. We'll also add these. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to all of our biter woman, and I'm basically going to just replace this with our female bleached. So if there is a grabber, it's interesting that the static grabber is not defined as female static grabber, but rather just grabber, or rather just biter in general, biter female. Um, so the idea here is that we should be able to go in here and replace all of the biters with the bleached variants. And the last one that I need to make is the sleepy time ones. So we go in here and say male bleached. Say rest, resting. Here. So NPCs, so their IDs were set to 2 for some reason. So all the humans are set to 2. This one's set to 0. Huh. And that's it. So humans are 2, zombies are 1. I'm not sure I understand that, but I'll see if I can keep testing and try to figure out a solution for that. So then we have the male resting, and essentially all that's going to do is it's going to set this, and this one's going to be based off of the male bleached. So just like that. Save. And then that way we can actually go in here and tell the rest of these as well. So biter resting. We now have kind of a twofer because I think I replaced some of the code with this resting one. So let's make sure that I've done this. It's easy. And then let's replace the biter. But I was having some really interesting, and actually that reminds me, I've got one code that I just backed up that I don't actually want. There was one I put out last night that basically I was trying to understand the attachment code, um, where for a while now I've been looking at going and trying to create custom code um, so that I could attach weapons to these biters. Um, but for whatever reason, the code doesn't actually work. It wasn't actually doing anything. So let's make sure it's only just my chemical changes. It is. So say reset to state before. That should go in here and add this back, get rid of that, which I do want. So that way it'll get rid of all those attachments. But basically the problem with that is that I went in and I used some of these codes to go and make obvious changes to try to find out if that was working, and it didn't do anything. And I did one that was like really obvious and really transparently, yes, 100%, this is not right kind of thing, and it didn't do anything. So I'm still trying to find the solution here because I feel like I've got a couple here. I've got a couple of things where I've kind of seen things work. I'm now getting kind of mixed matched feedback of some people are saying they are seeing my new zombies. Most people are saying they are not seeing the new zombies. And so because of that, I'm trying to figure out whether or not I actually have zombies working or not, which is really the basis for point 9. Let's see. I guess I probably need to make a female resting. I don't have that one yet, so let's go ahead and say and the reason that I'm not using the original ones at this point is I'm trying to actually confirm that this injected code is doing anything. Um, if I just use all of the ones that are already out here, then that won't really help confirm anything. And so hopefully by replacing all of these, we should end up with new types of zombies in the world. And basically, this is all to achieve this split that I was mentioning. So basically, we've got this split where, let's see, so this needs to be based off of the either female bleach. Basically, the difference is that we've got this locomotion system in here that's saying like, okay, we're gonna run this fast, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and the problem that I'm having is that I'm essentially injecting an overwrite to the locomotion file that works, but it's not very apparent if there's any other way to do it. And so instead of just blunt forcing my way into there, I'm trying to find out if I can go in here and create code that is a little bit more clean so that I can inject things how I want it to be rather than replacing files. I would like to try to add on to the solution here. And essentially for all the special types of zombies, as far as the um, these different like GRE ones and armored ones and that thing, for now I'm going to try to set them up as runners so that they're more intense. And then once I have a good idea of whether or not that's working, um, then I'm going to try to go back and hand tweak these to where I determine, okay, these guys make more sense as slow movers. They already have this concept of weak versus um, not weak, and so I think this should work out. So with the fog test, I guess we should also just do this last one as well. If there's not going to be any more definition of bite. So, just to recap here, the split here is that the Fresh Dead use my updated animations to where they are going to be running, they're going to be sprinting, they're going to be more like virals, while the um, Bleach Dead are the slow movers. Page, and then let's go ahead and just test and see what we get here. And it's actually pretty easy to test now to see whether this is working or not. I am still trying to understand if there is like some code that's very specific to the first map that would make it not work. I really feel based on what I've seen so far with the spawn code that this shouldn't be the case. Almost always I've been able to create zombies in the like walkways and the interiors, that kind of thing. So if that is the case, then you would imagine that this would not be city specific code, but rather something else is preventing these things from actually working. And I did test out the other day. So to test things out, I started deleting information out of the data zero to see what would cause the engine to break. And the human AI folder that I'm working out of now for the logic, I was able to delete out of the data zero without any issue. So it's a little confusing why the developers are still updating these scripts. So I did confirm that they did update one of the scripts, and worse than that, they did update the actual visual models of some of the undead using one of those scripts, which is even more frustrating because if that's the case, then we should be able to get the changes that I'm making here should follow that same pattern. So if we go down to the street view, we've got a slow mover, definitely a biter, definitely biters. And they are smarter. So I was testing out the other day, and they do get upset. They do run. Here's a backpack. Let's see if I can put the spears here. Oof. So as you can see, we do have, the zombies that are moving a little bit faster, but those are still not the actual my earlier sprinters. Those are just faster moving zombies. Well, I didn't get any weapons. So let's revive at dusk. It's always this question of like maybe there's an issue with like the spawn code. Maybe if you revive, I have noticed that it tends to feel like the zombies don't actually immediately work. That you need to like respawn in order to get things working. You can see the streets are fairly empty right now. I was looking through the code a little bit earlier. You guys had mentioned that the demolishers are not working as expected. I believe this is where I tried to add the demolishers to the rooftops, and so I've removed that part of the code for now, in the hopes that that will actually fix the problem where you guys have mentioned you're not seeing any demolishers anymore. So we'll keep testing and see if that fixes the problem. And overall, I mean, the zombies are now much better than they originally were. You do actually have to care about them. I do think that the one difference between uh, the Ultimate Survivor and not having the Ultimate Survivor and having casual is that I feel like this is still kind of boring. That I wouldn't necessarily be scared of this at night, you know, of like having to kick down some zombies versus um, them climbing up the walls kind of concept. So I am still looking. I mean, if you can essentially do this and they stop, then, you know, night is not really scary as far as that goes. So I am still looking for some alternatives though to try to make this a little bit more natural, to make them look a little bit better. And that's kind of the whole point of what I'm testing right now is how do I get these guys actually my last test weapon. Get these guys actually responding and behaving more appropriate. So I think this is a pretty good example of the streets are fairly clear. It just turned to night. Basically, I've seen where, like, with the code, you have to basically travel away from this region. They're starting to spawn. Very firm believer that if I can survive all of this with only fists, then it's not hard enough. So, gotta find that balance. Oof, oof, do something. So I think it's safe enough to say that this did not work. Um, that the zombie code is still not working properly. Just to go back in here and confirm. Fresh status here. So one of the things I wanted to look at tonight was to go back and look at the spawn code. And start looking in general about things like the priority system and a couple other systems that potentially I've turned on that are now causing issues. So, for example, with the priority system that's in AI, let's turn that back off and see if that makes any difference. Let's also go through and say there's like systems. So anytime it says like system, um, I want to go through and start seeing if any of these say something like biter, um, because let's see. what I might do also is, so we have our AI spawn system params. This is for the mod. Basically, go in here and say, I haven't actually tried doing this before, but let's go through and basically say, and then spawn source parammed elements. That is a method. So let's see if we can find. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start crawling through all things related to our spawn code and just start saying, like, is there a spawn script somewhere that is responsible for the chase thing, which looks like here is the spawn source params chase. I've seen those before. That was kind of a dead end. Let's keep crawling here. So we have the AI spawn volume. This is an actual prefab, so that's not going to do us any good. AI spawner difficulty presets. AI spawn difficulty definition file. Let's see here. We can grab that. Just confirm. Yep, it's the tier system. This is currently hooked up to custom code for I Am Legion. Clear. That's what I'm just looking at. Let's see. Faded. Faded. There's a chance. There's a chance, and this is going to be really bad if this is the case. I have not thought about these in a while because I rolled them outdated. But what if they are pulling their zombies from these pools and they're pulling their special infected from the AI present pool? I mean, this is like, that would be like super thin. I mean, this code is super outdated. I mean, there is no Night Walker, there is no Stinger, there's no intensity curves. There's, yeah, there, like, vessels. So if we go to the common spools, or pools rather, yeah, because they even called these things vessels in number one. They're not even calling these biters. There's no way. Nurkers, all that good stuff. There's just no way that that's hooked up in any way or form. So inside the spawn logic, I've always been curious about this one, the region params. It's just basically an empty file. They have a LOD system that basically determines that they're using biters off in the distance. That I've been wondering if it's actually using the LOD system to spawn those guys in down the road. See if any of these are now called biter. Because here we have one that's calling the day to night transition. It's pointing to biter, which doesn't make sense considering they have a transition. Do there is a day to night transition pull. Maybe it's referring to that. I do know that this script is actually working somehow because it's using also this special tag. So the special tag is coming into play here. Let's see, maybe we just keep going here. Here's their table spawn. I saw this last night. They have this concept of the biter can be found in the human AI Eternal. For most of the init spawns, all of this should have been updated at this point. Um, but I think even with this, this is just creating the actual spawn locations. I'm gonna have to try this when I get in the game. They have a prefab spawner. Shift control numpad. Okay. Never know what you find when you're crawling through here. So okay. Well, so at this point, the change that I made that I would need to test right now is the code where oh wait, hang on a second. Oh, abandoned. This doesn't exist anymore. So potentially, so from what I've seen before, this is all outdated. None of this was working before. Now that is interesting though. So there is the init. Go under our, I'm already there. So that's already been changed. So there is no concept of a init spider anymore. So what's really bizarre about this is that I've been able to go in here and actually add bandits. I've been able to change a lot of these things, but for some reason, maybe instead of doing just the present preset weighted, maybe my problem is that I'm doing preset weighted. If I do this as well, just to find out. Make sure this is updated here. So view refresh, refresh. So what we'll do is go in here, say replace, and we will replace, but then we'll also add here and say, let's do a fresh dead and let's do a child. So we can start confirming whether or not this is working, because this is starting to get kind of confusing as to why this isn't working. So we'll do a fresh dead and we'll do a kiddo. Just to confirm that the formatting is correct, let me go down here and confirm. Shouldn't have to do additional line there. Maybe I'll add it on just to be sure here. Save here. Reload it. Should end up with at least enough to try, I think. I actually don't see some of them in a couple of places, so I'm going to keep injecting here until I feel like I've at least got them in all the areas that I want to make sure that it's working. So let's go in here and say, I mean, it's actually interesting because I think I missed the biter resting. So the interiors would probably be the easiest way to tell. Let's go back to the biter file here. Go down to resting. Technically, all of those are using biter resting. I wonder what's going on with the search tonight. There's no way. They wouldn't have deleted it. It's right there. Is cap lock on or something here? Oh, match case. Oh, it's terrible. Okay. So then this is pulling in the bleached, setting the tree. So all of those should be fine. For these virals, let's go in here and say we find this, say replace, finds that. Also throw those in for shits and giggles. Save. And then what's the problem is that there's so many of these that there's just so many lines. Made one replacement. Why did that only make one replacement? Because the rest of them are messed up. Replace. Okay, 82 replacements. So I'm gonna guess now we should be good. Now I'm probably ending up, yeah. I'm ending up with duplicates. I'm messing this thing up. Have it backed up though, so let's just run it, and if we don't get crashes, let's find out if any of that worked. Oh, come, don't spawn me down here. Yeah, I'd say those are all biters. Damn. Who'd he kill? peacekeeper got spawned outside. He didn't make it very long. Good to see that the detection rates were good there, though. Shit. Didn't quite work. So I'm going to just take a quick run around the city here and see. We should also have some of the rooftop areas. Some of the rooftop areas should have kids in them. And well, the good news is that the map is coming alive more. We do have zombies. Like, I love that we have a spitter up on the roof over there. We obviously have our volatiles up on the roofs. If I have to, I will switch over to a different system for a little bit. It's a little frustrating because I thought I was pretty close to having custom zombies based on the code that was written. I thought perhaps I would be able to pull off custom zombies, but what I'm seeing so far, it may have to go back to the drawing board for a little bit until I get a chance to look through the code a little bit more. Which, is fine. It really is the difference right now. For this part of it of replacing a single file, I was trying to write it a little bit more intuitively to where we had a little bit more variation. I noticed there's a lot of backpacks showing up now. You don't care I'm here? But I still need to find these broken howlers that were in the game and look into the crafting system and some of the other features. So custom zombies may have to wait for a little bit. These other systems are working. Because right now the map's not very intense. This is the casual survivor essentially, and I know that this is probably not how I would play it. Um, I get that some people they prefer this method or they prefer this mode, and that's great. It's just not my playstyle necessarily. So I think what I'm going to do is in the event that some of these sometimes still work, I'm going to leave these in, and I'm going to switch over to a couple of the other systems really quickly. Um, and I think essentially I can just discard what I just did to that pool. I'm not really sure that's going to help. So we get stage. Let's see, update to spawn system. Spawn code. Push that. And then let's switch over really quickly to the craft system and see if we can get that update in. So switch back to main really quick. Let's merge in this branch. And, potentially this will show up in quests and that kind of thing. With the open world system, got an additional thought here about the open world system that they have. So I think this is the encounter that's messing up. Let's I figure while I'm in here, let's see if we can find that one with the glitched howler. I know that one stuck around for a bit too long here. And I can see where it is on. Potentially I'll just turn it off completely in the mod, and then that way here we go. That just led to something that I've been looking for. Scripts, iconized view. I need to step away for 1 second. Hey guys, sorry about that. So let me go through here really quick. So what I just found, hopefully, was the icon system for the HUD, which I've been searching for this for a little while. I'm actually not sure how I didn't find iconized view, but it eluded me. That's why I just need more time to sit here and crawl through the code. We're going to do a 09 feature quality of life updates. This will just be a whole series of small fixes and changes. Let's see, so punch. Give me. And basically, we want to find the zombie boss, special infected. See, it's moments like this. I'm not lining out 100 and some code. They comment out multiple lines. Um, thing is saying that it's Control Q or Control K. Neither of those work. So I'm not sure. Shortcut mapper, filter, block, comment. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, control, shift control, control shift Q. It still doesn't work though. Interesting. Block, comment. Do hopefully the ones that are already a thing. I don't know what Control Alt X is, but let's find out. Okay, well, this one just doesn't do it. That's really annoying. Um, let's see, Sublime. Okay. Seemed like that was delete to me. Um, You would think this would be more common. There's got to be like a shortcut for this or something. Say edit. I mean, maybe I'm just misunderstanding what this is supposed to be doing, but apologize for this random sidebar here, but like, what on earth? Visual Studio. Let's do it. Basically, the most annoying way to go about this. All right. A lot of different types of. Maybe I'm just missing something here. Also, can't comment out. We're seeing that. Maybe it has to do with the file type. Like if I go over here, this is a first for me. Um, I've gone to three different pieces of software to line out and encountered this. I think the easiest way to do this at this point is to select all of these, do a replace, say icon, do backslash icon. Incredible that I had to do that, but yeah. So then airdrops, inhibitors. feel like with some of these, if I were to be really mean, a lot of these would get turned off. Even the crate detection. I feel like that would be very difficult for a lot of players. Um, so we'll leave some of that on. I wish I could make that a little less frequent, but we'll leave that alone. Locate or landmarks, I get. I think for me, it's the infected ones that I'm like, make these a little bit more. Make these a little less obvious. I think one of the biggest things that will help with this is that if the daytime really is less intense or less dangerous for casual players and all this other stuff, then showing where these things are happening, showing where they happen will only make players immediately go loot them versus if I hide some of these, it'll make you less likely to just farm and will make you explore the city a bit more. I kind of have my doubts on some of these on whether to do this, but ambush probably shouldn't have an icon. But certain ones like certain ones I'll leave on, and we'll see how this works. Hopefully, this will make it a little less likely that you'll just be able to immediately find different bandit groups and that kind of thing. It'll probably also be less likely to flood the map. I think the only one that this should show howlers. I'm assuming no, those are all info. So there's like a howler icon somewhere. So let me try to turn off this night encounter and see if that helps cut down on the broken howlers. It'll be kind of a quality of life test. Settings. The encounter the defend. And to just confirm here, it's the prefab variant. We go to the encounter settings and search. See, that's the thing is, I'm not sure this is. If we ignite, let's move the GitHub there. Um, okay, let's just keep going on the encounter. I was hoping I would be able to actually go find where it was listing out what was in that prefab. But if it really is just spawning a prefab and that prefab has a mess of power, then that should fix it. Let's see if we say roof, counter threat roof, retreat night roof. Get rid of this temp init. That doesn't sound like that's good for anyone. Unchecked there, or allowed to spawn. And then so if we go here, that should now have us less icons, hopefully fixing the encounters. Let's head over to the grapple hook. I know several people have mentioned that the grapple hook is on all the time. Go where you're actually using the grappling hook. It uses the auto aim system along with. Let's see if we can find something for that really quick. Inventory, select, find file. Nope. Grapple. Interesting. Okay, so it's not in there. So if we go back to our main files here, we find grapple hook. is that one that everybody keeps reporting. So several people have reported that one of the quests has been broken for a while. It's over for the Nexus. Nexus, Dying Light 2. Pretty sure somebody just reported this one as well. Say bugs. All right, it's the cricket side quest. Um, here, let's say challenges, theory, cricket. Do a find. I mean, in a second, I'll do a find results and see if I can find that as well. So then, menu player tools, tool grab hook. Well, that's interesting. The grapple hook is not actually a weapon. I wonder if it's called something else in prototypes. I seriously doubt it would not be in your inventory. Almost everything that the player carries is in here. If we try something like hook, yeah, okay. Upgrade. What's this? Okay. So this might be the same issue as the auto aim with the bow, where I might just have to place it in there. And hope that turning that off to there fixes that issue. We'll continue to look at it. I'm also going to add a little bit of force to this. So, a couple of things. First, let's look for cricket. And this is basically what I ran into last time is I can't find the ultimate cricket bat anywhere.
Meet Suvi, the magical all-in-one countertop kitchen robot.
Hey! Ah, no. Tame? What did I? Because it's you. Yeah. Infect jobs. And take and pick.
Myself a new weapon at the armory. This one's worn out.
Keep your nose clean. We don't have any...
Okay. that they use the term narrow as much or if not more than the term arrow. Let's see. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is I've had a couple of people request trying to make throwables not get destroyed after they make contact. And based on what I'm seeing here, I'm guessing it's actually the physics script that's doing the cleanup here. Oh, that's fairly useless. I was hoping for something more than that. So I've got this searching. Let's see if this finds anything. So it's got the inventory files. Oh, arrow. Here's the hit effects. I wonder if any of these survive. So like the brick. If I hit something with a brick, does the brick survive or does the brick get destroyed as well? Maybe we open this up and test really quick and see if any of those. Let's just see really quickly if any of those actually stick around. So let's grab all the different throwables and just try to throw those really quick and see. Test if the icons still work. What is he? I don't think I've actually seen this guy before. Is that the spitter? Is that the suicider? And obviously the icons didn't work because we can see they're popping up there. Let me go down. I just want to see. Is that a charger? Give my ignorance here. Light to charger. Yeah, okay. I thought I've seen one before, but it looks like they're actually showing up in the spawn list now, which is good. All the colors on the map. controls working. Oof. Let me try that one more time and just kind of take a look around here. Lots of howlers. Eventually I may have fixed that spawn bug. You can see it's doing a lot of cleanup. You can see there. It is putting the same ones back. Moon is here. He's working. So there was the same event up on the roof, but he was actually working this time. Let's have it this way. That ain't gonna work. No way! Holy shit! That's creepy. They're coming from inside the dam. Look at all the black volatiles. That number's not going down either. Man, it sucks to be you. Oh, man. So much better. Still being chased. Even though the chase is over, this guy's still stalking me. It's pretty good. Let's him on. Oh, yes. Good. So I think what this is I think this is one of the bodies that the volatiles are eating. I think that's what it is. I think those big giants are the bodies of the guys getting eaten, and they haven't finished that yet. And that's the reason, is that it's disabled in the code. Alright, so here's another howler over here. Let's go see. Alright, well. Oh. works. Let's respawn in the daytime. Look at throwables real quick. I gotta call it a night here in a second. But that is interesting.
My bees are the best.
Because of the persistence. Because they just died here. I think the reason that they're not dying is because they're considered the black volatiles, which they're not even supposed to be out here. So there's a spear. Start with a spear. We throw this. It sticks. Does it always stick, or does it sometimes stick? Stuck. See if we can find a brick. It's a little bit harder to find bricks, I guess. Quick test on people. Zombies. It does stick. Thought I saw it for like half a second. Could be wrong though. It could have been his hoodie. Dumb, aren't you? Definitely dumb. Let's hit someone that does not have a hoodie. Kitty, 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 kitty. Alright, he's got a hoodie. You awake now? You gotta go back to fixing your light. No, it never appeared. Okay. So, no go on. Oh. think where I've always seen bricks. But stuff doesn't work, I don't think. I think I've seen bricks around the starter area too. Excuse me. Oh, that's nice. Actually, quite a few out here. Actually, a lot of defenses there, which is good. I guess I've seen a brick up here to the right. Gotta have brick locations now. Maybe it really is random. It's easy. Brick. Things like bottles, bricks, all that good stuff. Not quite sure how those are determined to spawn. Assuming the bottle will break. That one you could tie probably to... Oh. Well, we know the spear works. So if the spear is working, then we should be able to just go off that for now. What happens if I change the angle? So what if we go up here and we throw this straight down? Disappeared that time. So potentially it's based on angle to determine whether or not it stays. Perfect. Larry, meet Fred. This way. Oh, that sucks. And we got a PK over here fighting him. Yep. PK. Or maybe it was a dead PK. Yeah, I think it was a dead PK. Work the body. Sucks. Okay, so what we concluded from that, even though I couldn't find a brick, is that a spear definitely leaves a mark. So a spear, when thrown, gonna be like half the game. Interesting. Okay, so I think I found the values for allowing the thrown objects to remain in the world. most of these are going to be based off of whether they explode or not. So it looks like with a bottle, sure, bottle blows up. Um, but with the brick, for example, go in here and say explode on collision is set false. We need to find what's calling this hit effect brick. So follow that, and then is exploding. If we look up the effect for hitting a person with a brick, guessing that's hitting a person, we have a couple of flags there. We got concrete chunks. And then that's it. So my guess is that I should be able to go in here and say like explode delay and basically say explode on collision false. I don't know if there's a way to say like basically spawn a new brick or allow it to be picked back up. If we just set this explode on collision to false, maybe that will help for now. From sphere explode on. So this is doing an explode delay, and what's interesting is on the sphere effect, it's gonna be rectangular lit by lights. We go in here under effects. If we go to scripts or we go back, and we go to GPU FX, and then we're going to go to effects, and then we're going to say dynamic. What is this? They've got actual renders for P. Okay. Let's go in here and change a couple of things. Say dynamic. Let's grab the screamer glow. Try this, screamer eyes. And basically, I want to go in here and up the lighting intensity on their eyes. For sure. And then if I could get really lucky, set a color. Doesn't look like I'm going to get that lucky. Let's see what that does. Spear hit. Go in here and change some of these values and hope that this will help us figure out I don't care about as much. Light dynamic. Light prefab? Must be like a flash of light. Fabric chunks, splinters. Maybe like 200, 400. Okay. See if that does anything. And then after this, I'm going to call it for the night. Okay, so it's daytime, so let's go find a spear. Let's see, I think the best place is probably there. So there's the initial smoke. That lived longer. Okay. So the smoke and the sparks lived, but the actual stick didn't. So whatever it is, not. It's almost, maybe it's like a Gibbs system. Flop around out while we look here. So the Gibbs system that I found, it's no longer. Oh, not gonna be it. Interesting though. It's not gonna be a splinter. That is sun setting there. Let's take a look in the dynamic folder a little bit more. Yeah, see, that's what it is. It's where it's spawning an event that has the dead bodies. That's why the big body keeps randomly showing up. Ever notice that they create a light source, their breath, or at least I think they do. Okay, guys, I think that's it for me for the evening. I found a couple of things I'm going to continue to investigate tomorrow, but I think for the most part, the spawn system was a no go. Looks like the grapple, the grapple indicator was kind of a no go for now. The cricket thing is a no go for now until I find out the name of their very specific quest path. Which let me look really quick and say. So inventory special DL quest cube paper sheet. I bet if it were anywhere. So let's go do that one as well. This is why I just gotta look through these files. That one's way too easy. All right, so the one that I noticed is that, so here we have our hit reaction flags. Thump, ground pound, collision damage. This one right here, jump on head. That should be ragdoll. I've never seen an FF effect name. All right, guys, I'm going to start wrapping up for the night. This has been actually very helpful here at the end because I found a couple of things that I definitely want to figure out and continue to take a look at. But for the arrow system and several of the other systems, it looks like I'm going to have to continue to look into those. But I'll take a look here pretty soon. I'll take a look at this again and see if I can figure out why these certain systems are not working. So here's also the rope hook. Which I've done it in the special, but I didn't do it in this file. So I'm going to continue to look at these a little bit more and take a look, but I'm pretty sure these are most of the weapons used for the quests, and so hopefully I can figure out which one of these is being used as that specific bat. So I'll keep taking a look. Thank you guys for watching. So once again, my name is Jason. I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much. This has been development towards 0.9 for I Am Legion Reborn for Dying Light 2. Hope you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys here soon.